Manchester United 2, Manchester City 0, and it should have been more. Donnarumma was making world-class saves, United hit the woodwork twice and had 3 very close, tight offside goals disallowed. Apparently, it was the biggest ever XG loss for City. Michael Carrick's United battered them. Now, for me, the great thing here was the intent of Manchester United. Literally, from the start, we went at Manchester City, we asked questions of them, City had a very different back four to what they normally would, and we put them under pressure right from the start. This is 1 minute 40 into the game, City have a goal kick, and United are situated nice and high up the pitch, trying to put pressure on the ball. Before we talk about formation, before we talk about anything else, intent is very, very important. You give your players a message when you ask them to play in a certain way. And when you ask them to press high, when you ask them to go toe-to-toe with Manchester City, you're giving them the belief that they are as good as the opposition and have every right to go and battle them. And that's exactly what Manchester United should be. In terms of a bit more of a tactical approach and the shape and things that we were looking to use, United were very much in a 4-2-3-1 that could change into different shapes during the game, with off the ball a sort of shift at times to a bit more of a 4-4-2 diamond. There were these moments where Bruno Fernandes would move into a front two with Brian and Mbumo, Kobbie Mainoo would come a little bit higher in midfield, and Dorgu and Ahmad would sort of play these sort of split zonal roles in the diamond. So if the ball was to go to the right back, Dorgu would pounce from there, and if the ball was to come this way, then Ahmad could pounce, but also we've got plenty of numbers in the middle of the pitch. Now, whilst I do want to give loads of credit to United, because I think they deserve it, we also have to acknowledge City were terrible. They've got some very young players in that defence, particularly the two centre-backs. They're not that experienced in this sort of game, and they played poorly. They were very shaky on the ball, and clearly the left-sided centre-back was someone that we looked to target. A right-footed player playing on this side, inexperienced. United looking to target him, put him under pressure, turn over the ball, and we should have scored goals from these situations. Now, whilst United did want to press as often as possible in this game, the possession numbers will tell you that Manchester City did sometimes get out from the back, and they did get their foot on the ball. They always do. This is a Pep Guardiola side. They always have spells of possession, and United always needed to be prepared for that, and they were. We saw it in this video yesterday, where we were talking about what we learned from Carrick's training session. It was only a brief clip, but what we saw in that training session was a focus on 4 midfielders across the line, very close to each other, reducing the gaps in the middle of the pitch, and surprise, surprise, it's what we saw on the football pitch against Manchester City. City are a team that love to try and get that ball through the middle of the park, but United didn't let them. It was so narrow, it was so compact. Basically, the rule for United was that ball could not come through the middle of the pitch. And we did that very well. We had lots of numbers in the middle. You can see it here. Very, very compact. Just apologies for my voice going a little bit, by the way. I was quite excited during the game. But one of the ways that we did this, I felt, was with the wingers. I think they played a big role, particularly, I think Ahmad especially was fantastic, but Dorgu was also very good in this game. And what they would try and do is lock Rodri to one side of the pitch. They try and force City to play to a touchline. So rather than going through the middle here, what we're doing is sort of curving our run from out to in. So Rodri can't come and play this way, so he's got to go to the right. And this is what we always talk about, by having control without having the ball. To control a football match, you don't literally have to have the ball at your feet. You just want to control where the ball is going. And that's what United did. So City may have had possession, so you might think they had control, but it was Manchester United, without the ball, choosing where the ball was going, with these curved movements from the wingers, sort of forcing these City players to play one side. There's this great moment from Bruno Fernandes here, where he puts a real effort in to make sure that he traps Rodri, so that Rodri can't turn and play. And for United, that meant that we always had control of where the ball was going. And for so much of this game, this was out wide. We didn't see Haaland at all. He was as confused as everyone when he came off. I didn't actually realise he was on, because United stopped any service to him at all. Instead, what City had, of course, was the wide play. And like you, I was scared. We saw Semenyo and Doku. We saw our fullbacks both booked early on with a couple of big tackles. United getting the crowd on side. I could see what we were doing, but I was a little bit scared of these situations. But I think both fullbacks defensively ended up doing a very good job. And again, Ahmad and Dorgu deserve so much credit for the work that they did. Now, if you want more of a breakdown on what United did defensively, let me know in the comments. I can do another video, but now we need to get to the exciting on-the-ball stuff. Just quickly, before we get into that on-the-ball stuff, this feels like a good time to ask if you could please subscribe to the channel. We would love to hit 90,000 subscribers this month, and I think with your help on a positive day, we might be able to get there. So please press subscribe. So now it's time to talk about United getting on the ball and being an exciting team to watch. But you will notice initially I still have Manchester City in possession. And the reason for that is because a lot of United's great attacking moments were in the transitions. Particularly if City tried to just knit the ball through the middle, but they couldn't. We had the numbers in there. Casemiro and Kobbie Mainoo were fantastic defensively. The work rate, the ground coverage of these two. This is Kobbie Mainoo in the 88th minute, still sprinting backwards. These two deserve a lot of credit for their performance, particularly after not playing loads of football recently. But the great thing is when we won the ball, because Ahmad and Dorgu are starting as wingers, not wingbacks. Wingbacks are tucked in here all the time. Because they were wingers, we had that position that we could pounce from. We had these players higher up the pitch. So for Patrick Dorgu, he was immediately on Rico Lewis when he got the ball. And the same for Ahmad against Nathan Ake. We got the ball and could immediately commit Manchester City players. And for City and Guardiola, that's the last thing that they want. The last thing they want is these United players picking up the ball and running at them. But in Dorgu and Ahmad, across the 90, the running power of the two was fantastic. And I think Amorim, yeah, we're going back a bit now. I think Amorim and the coaches deserve a lot of credit for that because the conditioning of the United players actually looked fantastic in this game. You've got to give them credit for that. They looked absolutely brilliant. But it gave United that constant transition threat and that constant moment where we could always go in behind. Of course, 3 goals disallowed marginally. They're all so close and actually quite frustrating. But they're all coming from these moments where we overturn the ball and quickly pounce. And that's what we talk about with the Manchester United way. Quickly moving the ball forward, getting the ball and looking to find a forward pass. Looking to get your goal scorers high up the pitch, close to goal. Ahmad was involved in the attacking play, and Mbeumo was involved in the attacking play. And do you know what the great thing was? Look where Bruno Fernandes was receiving the ball. Look where he is getting the ball, in these big spaces in the middle of the park, where we know he can be so dangerous. I think some of his double movements, combining with Mbeumo, were just absolutely fantastic. And again, the City centre-backs could not deal with it. Now, to be honest, United playing in counter-attacks and being dangerous in those moments isn't anything new. We have seen it in big games before. Even under Ruben Amorim, we saw games where we could transition. I think in this game, we were set up better for those moments because of the advanced positioning. But the big thing that I liked in this game, again, was the intent and the confidence that you got from Michael Carrick put into his players. First of all, he asked them to press really high. So he gave them the belief that we are good enough to go toe-to-toe with City, to get after them and put them under pressure. He then also asked us to play out from the back. There was no fear of City pressing us. These United players in the first phase wanted to receive the ball. Structurally, it's relatively simple. You know, players in sensible positions, 2 centre-backs, 2 full-backs, 2 central midfielders. It's very basic. But particularly in Lisandro Martinez, Kobbie Mainoo and Luke Shaw, you've got 3 amazing players for playing out from the back. Dalot is also underappreciated in this area of the game as well. And for Maguire, you know, he's not moving into midfield. He's in a lovely position where he can face the play. And I love the bravery of this United performance. I think that was what we saw more than anything. A brave, aggressive, bold, exciting approach. But we wanted to get on the ball and we wanted to play. And I don't think City were ready for that. And I think something that we did very well was, again, that double movement up front. Where what we would do is drag City over to this side of the pitch. Or it could be either side. But we would drag them to one side. And we know that City are going to try and get over. But there was some fantastic, if we just combine them, some fantastic double movements from Mbeumo and Bruno Fernandes. So Mbeumo might come towards the ball, but for that to work, Bruno Fernandes has got to go in behind. And the reason why that works is because as Bruno runs, it takes Rodri, and that's when Mbeumo can now drop into that spot. Or the other way around, Mbeumo might spin in behind, and now Bruno's going to drop into the 10 and pick up possession. And again, it allowed United on a few occasions to get out from the back. And actually, if our technical details were a little bit better, we probably could have scored from one of these as well. And then the other thing I liked was when the game just settled. And that didn't happen loads in this game because, again, it was quite clear what United were trying to do. Trying to get the crowd involved with big tackles, fast football, compact defending. Great, I love that. But there were a few moments where it slowed down for United. And again, what I liked was that there wasn't a rushed approach. We weren't desperate to get the ball away. We weren't desperate to get the ball into the box immediately. We were patient. We took our time on the ball. And again, in this midfield 3, you've got Casemiro, who he's an interesting player, right? But what he can do is pass. He can pass the football, and he's a very good passer. Bruno Fernandes is an amazing passer, and he's also great in tight spaces as well. I think his work in deeper midfield has actually made him a more complete player. And then you've got Kobbie Mainoo, who's just a pure technician. He looks after the ball fantastically. And United wanted to get that ball down and play. And in terms of some of the ideas that we saw, well, it was something that we did anticipate during the week. And that was United trying to overload one side of the pitch, getting Shaw, Dorgu, Bruno Fernandes, and Mbeumo could drift as well, getting lots of players close to the ball, really close to each other. And the reason you want to do this is so that you can combine and find a way through, for example, a little bit like this. But the other positive is the effect it has on City. If you've got this many three United players, all technical, with Lisandro Martinez stepping as well. All technical, all close to each other. What it does is it draws City over. City have to come and defend, and they have to get players towards the ball, and they have to try and stop you combining in those situations. But of course, that's going to leave a more open side of the pitch. Now, it might still be 2 versus 2 or man versus man, but the point is there is more grass. It's literally a bigger patch of grass for you to play in. And United had that again all game long, where we could overload one side and then move the ball and isolate the far side and then look to attack from there. This moment where we don't quite get the pass from Diogo Dalot, very frustrating at the time, was sort of a hint of what we're trying to do. Combine one side, move the ball to the space on the other side, and City just couldn't deal with it. Now, I would be lying if I said this was literally textbook perfect from Manchester United. I think defensively, there were a few areas where City looked like they might probe and might cause a problem, particularly with the outside midfielders. Like I said, if you want more coverage on that in another video, let me know, because I could talk about this football match for the next 100 years and probably be okay. Today I want to focus on the positives. That's what we tend to do on this channel. If Manchester United win, we will highlight a concern or two, but really talk about the positives, because we haven't had too many over the past few years. But today really was one. Old Trafford was absolutely rocking by the end of the game. We should have scored more goals. You know, City will feel they got away with one, only losing 2-0. They should have been absolutely battered. Manchester United controlled the football match without literally having the football at their feet, and that takes a lot. It takes a lot to do that. So Michael Carrick and his coaches deserve a lot of credit, and so do the players. The work rate, for me, has never been a question with this United squad. I think the work rate of the bunch is fantastic. They looked very fit in today's performance, and they just kept going. The work rate was fantastic, but they executed as well. They performed very well on the day, and United could have scored more. So honestly, it's just a great moment. We don't need a super long video today, I don't think. We can do more of the details another day if you like. Today, let's just enjoy it. Manchester United beat Manchester City. Will there be difficult games coming up? Yeah, Arsenal next week is tough. We're not suddenly back. This was a weaker Manchester City team, of course it was. But there were still some fantastic players on the pitch. Semenyo, Erling Haaland, Phil Foden. Cherki came onto the pitch as well. And none of them really could threaten the Manchester United defence. All we have asked for all season from our manager is for Manchester United to be difficult to attack and hard to defend. And, you know, you can question expected goals a little bit, the consistency of it, but these numbers sort of reflect that. United were difficult to attack and United were difficult to defend and deserved the win. Thoroughly deserved the win. Should have been more. So I'm happy. I am just a happy man. I tell you guys this all the time. I'm a Manchester United fan. I'm a simple man. I want to see United playing well and winning, and we did exactly that today. So we're going to wrap the video up there before I waffle more nonsense. So thank you guys very much for watching this one. I hope you have enjoyed it. Again, please, if you could subscribe, it would be just absolutely amazing. And yeah, I will see you all in the next one.